welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to HCG Masters Season numero uno, and today marks the conclusion of the regional Swiss that we will have available for you guys before we take a short little break, and then we can actually carry on with the meat and potatoes and get to that main Swiss stage. As things stand right now, well, we've basically got about 6 teams that are left, and only 3 of them can qualify towards our main switch. That means that we will sadly have to wave goodbye to 3 of the 6 teams in today's matches. My name is Tudors, and we'll be starting off with, if I'm not mistaken, with aTTaX, also known as aTTaX, and they'll be going up against Los Reyes in just a couple of moments very, very shortly. And for those of you guys who are curious as to how exactly these 2 squads got here, well, it has been quite the long and quite the bumpy road ahead of them, and they finally made it to this particular stage. So it was aTTaX. They were able to actually eliminate Singularity from our competition right over here, which, truth be told, actually caught me a little bit by surprise. Singularity, relatively renowned roster that unfortunately did see a couple of bumps, despite the fact that they are a squad that can pack a little bit of punch. They did unfortunately have some laurels that they couldn't put to rest, and as such we had to wave goodbye to them yesterday. And Los Reyes, well, more or less the exact same story from them. They were able to actually take out Onyx yesterday, which was one of the teams that showed so much potential. They could have made it so much farther through our regional Swiss, but they just faltered at the very last second. But either way, I'm sure you guys at home are very curious to hear about which war zones we shall be visiting. So let's go ahead and take a look at the map vetoes between the side of aTTaX and Los Reyes. It's sure to be a very, very spicy one. We will start off with aTTaX. They are going to be removing Dust 2 from play, and that really doesn't come off as any sort of surprise. Dust 2, I believe, is easily one of the most banned maps that we have seen throughout the HCG Masters Season 1 Vertigo. Also not to be played in this particular best of 3. So relatively standardized bans. I wouldn't be all too surprised if we see a couple of default maps being picked out here and there. And we do see Ancient as the first map being picked out by alternate aTTaX. Obviously one of the most played and one of the most loved. I know that's a little bit of a controversial statement, but it can be a little bit loved by those people within the community, some of you specific little knobheads right there. But we will have map number 2 end off to be Overpass over here. Overpass, one of the maps that was actually proved to be very interesting in yesterday's series between, if I'm not mistaken, the side of 777 and FTW. In case you guys did miss out on that match yesterday, be sure to go ahead and watch the VOD. It was quite the banger that entire series through. Nuke also to be removed next, and Mirage also won't see any play today either between these 2 squads. So that means we're technically going to be going to, well, the one map where good teams go to die as our decider map, should this series require all 3 maps to see if, if Ancient and Overpass aren't going to be enough. It is going to be quite the banger of the series right over here. And obviously both of these 2 squads, they're basically on their last limbs right over here. A single mistake, a single bit of a slip up, and this could definitely cost them a shot at the prize pool that we have available of 180,000 euros within the first season of HCG. So there's definitely all to play for, and both teams, they don't want to go down slouching. They want to join the rest of the crew that's already qualified. They want to join Masonic, NLG, CC Oglum, FTW, Sangle, 777, just to name a couple of teams. Or actually 777, I do believe that they are playing today at 7 p.m. instead. So it's just those 5 teams that have already qualified. But still, let's go ahead and dive right into the South American rainforest that is Ancient. And start off today with some good old-fashioned CS. Cello already inside a donut, spots out 1 player, but they actually didn't even spot out Rick, so he's been able to put up a little bit of work, but he finally will be traded off courtesy of Sky right there. At least a little bit of damage control coming out from alternate aTTaX. But it is still a long road ahead of them in this round to regain that man advantage, or at the very least try to equalize it, and Buzz is going to ensure that that doesn't happen, or that there's a minimal chance of it happening at the very least. Sky will claim yet another victim for himself before Potty trades it back on out. The Glock of Sky needs to try to come alive, and yet it does. So that means that the A-bomb site up for grabs, but You know for a fact that Buzz and Jarko are quick on his tail to respond, duo peeking eventually as they are creeping up ever so closely on him. The bomb plant can't even be confirmed. No extra cash for the side of alternate attacks. And Los Reyes have taken the pistol round right here on Ancient. And it obviously was this play coming out from Rixo, just staying very deep inside a donut, completely unnoticed. Tucked in, able to secure that double kill to, well, effectively start off the round right here on Ancient. That really bolstered Los Reyes' chances at taking that first round. And interestingly enough, we actually don't see any upgraded pistols coming out from the side of aTTaX. Except for that Deagle and the P250, it's relatively timid on their side. Jarko, close proximity. The MP9 looking to tap away, and he's got that Deagle up personal to deal with that. He does. Freeze falls, and Sky's next to join him in a 6-foot grave. Rixo with the FAMAS also finds one of the Ozek, leaving Cello in the center of mid. Actually able to secure one frag with P250, so a little bit of a consolation frag right over there. But at the end of the day, it is still going to be a second round in a row for the side of Los Reyes, despite alternate attacks not being able to put up a buy in this third round. They will, however, AKs to be passed around with just that one singular Galil that is ruining my OCD. Not all too much util to talk about on the side of alternate though, which is a bit concerning to say the very least. 2 flashbangs. It's practically all you really need for an execution, but that's all they have. That means they can't be tossing them around willy-nilly, and you've got to clear out those corners. The flashbang maybe could have come in handy. Either way, they will secure the trade onto Buzz after he caused quite a boatload of damage, and now you know the dinner bells are starting to ring for Los Reyes. They've already converged back onto the A-bomb site, and alternate attacks, well, they're starting to feel extremely uncomfortable as Rixo shuts down Cello through the smoke. Sky and Freeze to try to salvage the round. And Freeze elsewhere through mid will be able to find Jarko and Lil. Oh no, that's unfortunate for Sky. Locking horns with Alex right there. Doesn't bode all too well for him either. And now Freeze is on the run with the Galil. Not the ideal piece of weaponry that he'd like to have, but it's the one that he'll have to make do with. And obviously that bomb, it is more than a world apart from him. If he had it on his back, then the availability for a B plant, it would have been there. He could have done it. Already sent us into a post plant, but he has to recover that. And we do have Alex watching over it like a hawk, as well as the rest of the squad right here. Los Reyes hunkered down, just willing to bide their own time for the next 15 seconds. The moment that Freeze likely makes a misstep, he will lose his life. Rixo claims him. Freeze to fall, and Los Reyes with a hat trick of rounds to kick off Ancient on the CT side. And I can already start to piece together this is going to be a relatively nightmarish experience for alternate attacks. I mean, obviously Ancient, it is one of the most CT side maps we have currently in the game right here. And the more that I see it, the more disheartening it actually starts to become as to how difficult it really is for any T side to see some modicum of success right here. Either way though, if alternate attacks really wanted to get themselves a bit of success, those early rounds would have been crucial because, let's face it, it would have been very understanding and more so expected of Los Reyes to come back swinging with the rounds, even if alternate attacks managed to get themselves the lead. But they will continue to dominate and grow their lead even further. Maeve, the last player alive on the side of aTTaX, no longer alive as Rixo manages to find his 7th kill of the round. So close to averaging 2 frags per round thus far. Really coming in alive with that A1S. And that is 4 rounds already down for the count on the side of Los Reyes. Alternate attacks unsuccessful on their buy round thus far, but it was just the one. Now, Obviously, with a little bit more of a spring in their step. Full stack over towards Donut, or over towards Candles, excuse me, and you know for a fact that Buzz will have caught a little bit of audio over there, so he can call for the rest of the squad of Los Reyes to immediately rotate on through, but yet he's quicker to the draw. Finds Ozek, Flash is perfect as well, he walks away with 3 before Maeve is able to shut him down as well as Patty, so this is starting to look recoverable. Maeve gets in with a 3rd. And suddenly, Los Reyes don't have the easiest of work cut out for them. Bomb plant will go down as well. Jarko and Rixo once again to get it done, but Maeve finds the quadra kill onto Jarko, easily holding it down and ensuring that alternate attacks have something to say right here in the rainforest. Rixo 1v2 spots out the shoulder of Maeve, 22 HP. Flashbang is good, but Maeve won't go for the peek just yet. Rixo inching his way ever so closely. Finds a little bit of damage onto Freeze, but it's time for Maeve to get that ace. Oh no, he whiffs the shot. And Freeze won't falter just yet. Oh, a fat finger coming out from Reyes as he couldn't land a spray of bullets. And that is Freeze recovering the op, keeping it intact just as the bomb was about to go off in the dying seconds of the round. Brilliantly played right there by the mainstay opper of alternate attacks, Maeve, getting a quadra kill to really put Los Reyes' CT side in the dirt where it belongs, single-handedly pulling that round out of the jaws of defeat. And now alternate attacks, well, they've got a leg to stand on. But Los Reyes still have some fight left in them, to say the least. Weaponry to be passed on around, including Big Green, so they can match the AWP that Maeve has brought to the table. Speaking of Maeve, looking to gather a little bit of intel, but walks right into the clutching arms of Rixo instead. Azek will be able to, at the very least, trade it back as Jarko will finalize that trade. And at the end of the day, it is still just a couple of 1-for-1 refrags coming on out. At the end of the day, it's not going to favor either one of these two squads, as we are left now in a 2v2 scenario with the bomb actually in the hands of Sky right over here, who is maybe looking to get a B plan off, but little does he know that Alex is far too close for comfort to get that bomb down. So how is this one going to play off? At the very least, Sky will have to hold his horses until Cello pulls off this very long rotate back towards the bomb site. And on top of that, they somehow still have to deal with Alex, who is just waiting outside a mattress. Buzz on the opposite side of the map. He's going to be in for a little bit of surprise when the bomb plan goes down, but at this certain stage, 20 seconds left, you haven't seen a soul, you may as well want to rotate on over, and that he does. Alex confirms that the plant has gone down. First engagement, seeking out by Buzz. He finds one, he gets a second as well as Cello tried to swing out for the refrag. Buzz didn't have a single bit of it. No sirree. Los Reyes, they put an end to that very short-lived win streak of one round by alternate attacks. They get themselves a 5th right here on Ancient as well. Starting to look good. Not so good, though, however, for alternate attacks. Not the greatest of cash. Util has nearly been filled up, though, so that is looking relatively promising, to say the darn least. Truth be told, this is some very interesting CS that Los Reyes are playing. They're playing relatively slouched back. They have no problem with giving up a lot of free real estate over towards the side of alternate attacks. Something that I can respect. It's only been about 2 rounds out of these 6 that we have witnessed in which they really take an aggressive stance and actively seek those opening engagements and try to draw first blood. They'd rather just wait for people such as Freeze to walk into their LOS so they can crisply pick up those opening kills, those opening headshots. Maeve in towards Donut. Finds a lot of damage onto Rixo and Patty, but not the headshots. That's going to leave alternate attacks into a 3v5 scenario. Sure, they have some fair bit of control of this B bomb site, but it is far from comfortable. They have to smoke off these lines of sight. And Buzz will be able to shut down Sky through towards Mattress. Boosted up as Jarko. He finds even more damage on towards Ozek. Bomb plan will be confirmed at the very least as a consolidation. Cello spraying wildly through the smoke. Won't live to see the end of the round either. Jarko finds him. Los Reyes. Aside from the fact that they took so much damage spread through all 5 of their players, at the end of the day, it is still a flawless round they were able to put up on the scoreboard right here. 6-1 your scoreline. Moving into round number 8, well, alternate attacks, they can still put up quite the little bit of a buy over here. So they still got money, but they basically exhausted all of their funds aside from that. And this is very dangerous on the side of Patty. He's about to be sworn, but he, luckily enough, retreats all the way back to Donut in time to keep his life in tow. Alternate attacks, they do take a little bit of territory over towards mid. They have made Los Reyes feel a little bit more uncomfortable. Think twice about challenging those angles, and a juicy little HE will be tossed out. Certainly going to farm Rixo's ADR in that instance. But now the push starts to come on through over towards Donut. Patty finds another after the first onto Maeve. And once again, the side of alternate attacks is getting shut down single-handedly. Patty confirms the triple kill on the round right here, ladies and gents, inside of Donut. At the end of the day, that is the 2nd time in a row, if I'm not mistaken, including the pistol round, in which alternate attacks have actually fallen to this kind of play of one person just being tucked on the opposite side of Donut, and alternate attacks aren't really quick enough to check it. Or at the very least, they're not quick enough to get the refrag. That's the main issue. They've been struggling to secure these trades, and Los Reyes, they will happily take these 1v1s. For now, though, quick little push directly from the B-bomb site is going to leave us in a 4v3 scenario, as Alex will be able to recover that man advantage. Rixo joins in, but Cello with the Tech 9 comes alive. That's going to leave Maeve with the Deagle to spray away, tap away, but he can't make any kind of magic happen whatsoever. Los Reyes, they hit 8 rounds. They effectively win the half as well. But we know for a fact that, hell, it's Ancient on the CT side. You're likely going to be picking up 10 rounds, maybe 11 as well. And as there are only 5 rounds left in this first half, or 6 including this one, yeah, we need alternate attacks to maybe hit a bare minimum of 5 for things to remain interesting and competitive over here. I want to remain optimistic, but given the way that they've been playing thus far with no real success except for the one buy round in which Maeve came alive on the AWP, not exactly sure if I see it happening. At this certain stage, I just wouldn't really want to see alternate attacks move over towards Donut, because every single time they ingress towards that position, those Reyes have got the perfect death trap setup where they can walk away with an easy multi-kill. That's something that alternate attacks should be doing their darnest to avoid at all costs, quite literally. Successful entry secured by Patty, coupled with the flashbang. May falls, and Jerko, oh no, perfect game sense, finds Ozek as well through the surface. Once again, going to leave alternate attacks in a 5v3 scenario. Tight angle, but it's a double-edged sword and it works both ways. Jarko finds that in return, and Alex, once again will be able to join in on the fun. Finds Freeze and now Cello. Mounting to climb ahead of him. Won't be able to walk away with one single dignity frag. Rixo on the AWP, farming cash, farming ADR and kills, will secure that last one. Alternate attacks, not showing enough ferocity, not really showing off enough grit. Really struggling to make this T side work at all. So they'll call out for yet another tactical pause right here to see exactly what can be done differently in these rounds. What has been going wrong? I think that's the main question that you have to answer before you can move on to how you fix it. You have to recognize the problem. I'm getting word that it's actually a tech pause instead. Not exactly sure who tripped over their power cable at home, who unplugged their PC, but either way, we shall get it sorted out very, very shortly. Still, though, on the side of alternate attacks, I'm just a little bit critical about the util that they've been using thus far. Obviously, I don't want to complain about their smoke usage. I don't want to really complain about their Molotov placement, because that's all been fine and good. It's helped them in the executions that they have been able to pull off, but it's mainly these flashbangs that really aren't getting the work done. You've got people such as Patty that are once again able to pull off these ridiculous plays, farming multi-kills yet again, simply because of the fact that they actually have an eyesight. They have eyes to work with, and they're able to walk away with it. But still, at the end of the day, it was a pistol round for alternate attacks. Really not all too much that they could have done in that instance, despite the fact that they did bring out flashbacks. Either way, though, 11 rounds in, and we have Los Reyes already hitting double digits. 10 rounds to their name. Alternate attack still with just the measly 1. But now they will put up a buy round once again. They've got Maeve holding on to his signature AWP. Let's see if they can work their magic and if they can manage to sway away from danger and keep their lives in tow for the first 20 seconds of the round, because that's where it's been going wrong, ladies and gents. Is these first 20 seconds of the round where Los Reyes somehow seems to find the most success, with alternate attacks almost seeming entirely lost, not being able to get a trade working in their favor. Alternate not exactly comfortable with the ground that they have secured thus far. There were some strides made over towards Candles on the far left-hand side of the map, but that's since been dropped. And you can see the CTs of Los Reyes, well, they're quickly converging on this mid position. The flashbangs come on through, and Patty's soon to activate. He gets a second kill as well. And now Sky physically on the bomb side with the rest of his squad to see if they can get the bomb plant down, but it's not happening. No, Patty won't have it whatsoever. A quadra kill put up yet again by Patty. This is just absolutely beautiful CS that is coming out from this individual right here. And more so, it is so perfectly coordinated Counter-Strike that Los Reyes are putting up on the playing field. You saw how comfortable Los Reyes were to actually take that risk. At the end of the day, they really understand what it takes. It really just goes to show exactly how well the understanding of Counter-Strike is and information gathering is on the side of Los Reyes, right? Information gathering is not only about, for example, jumping information or using an opt down a long avenue for information. Gathering information also means being able to puzzle where your opponents might be based on where they aren't. And Los Reyes, they spotted, for example, the fact that, you know, alternate attacks, they were not over towards mid, they were not over towards Donut, not even Candle. So where could they be? Still deep inside T-spawn, over by T-ramp / mattress, looking to actually push in towards the B-bomb site. And as such, they had all 5 of their members, at the very least the 3 ones that weren't physically holding down that B-bomb site, converge on the route towards mid, put a flashbang in through, and then boom, you've effectively eliminated the entire T side of alternate without them really being able to accomplish anything. For now, though, it's a little bit of a different story. Rixo with a missed shot, left without a Tech 9 of his own, nearly takes care of Ozek as well, but it's all lost at this stage. Alternate attacks. They've somehow been able to find the magic formula that makes Los Reyes tick. They've secured 3 kills, 2 rifles of their own, including a MAC-10 right here. And it's all down to Patty and Buzz ingressing back on the screen, taking spot out one player as Buzz and Patty find 3 kills in tandem to put us back into a 2v2 scenario. It's not all too comfy for AA just yet. Freeze can't make the Tech 9 come alive, and no, Cello can't make it happen either. A good recovery on the side of Los Reyes, but hoo-wee, they're going to be letting out a massive sigh of relief off of their chest after that one. It got far too close. Alternate attacks, quite literally stampeding down like a semi-truck. And Cello with that nasty little 2-piece of the Tech 9. Oh, that is sure to bolster your confidence just a little bit more on the side of AA, but you would have really wanted that round instead. They came close to it. Don't get me wrong about that. They really came close to it. But unfortunately enough for alternate attacks, even if they do win out these last 2 rounds, it'll have to be against bye rounds on Los Reyes because they have plenty of days. For the remainder of the second half, they are set in stone. Ozek will draw first blood safely and securely after a second one had already been cuffled. So Jarko and Patty, we've sadly had to wave goodbye to them earlier in this round. Alex holds down the fort yet again, but that was the last player that he had to deal with over towards the B bomb side. Rixo tasked with dealing with these A site players instead. They have been able to rotate the bomb on in securely. Now Rixo, the aggressive stance, finds one. That's Cello. Goes in for the second onto Freeze. Now it's all down to Sky, who narrowly manages to get his head tapped away by Rixo. Is able to relegate Los Reyes to 2 sole survivors, but he himself is isolated inside a donut, and once you've been smoked off, you'll have to spray just a little bit randomly to try to get a bomb. Uh-oh. He's left on 14 HP. He will spray down Buzz, but unfortunately enough, he can't get an angle to work with onto Alex. Does get a little bit of consolidation damage off, but that is not enough. Los Reyes, they find 13, and they are likely going to get themselves a 14 right here versus AA. It definitely was a really great start off coming up from Alternate, but then it was just this wondrous play. Not Rixo's corpse flying, but the actual triple kill he got beforehand. That was the miraculous play that really gave alternate attacks a bit of a struggle. Last round of the first half right here. Alternate attacks not looking all too comfortable, not looking all too hot. Los Reyes wanting to conclude Ancient as soon as humanly possible. Oh, it's a costly missed shot by Maeve right there. If you would have been able to deal with that secondary player of Alex, you could have definitely cracked open that B bomb site, but now you'll have to wait just a little bit longer before you can get an entry. And Jarko finds one. He gets a second perfect spray transfer as well with the A1S. Freeze not expecting it despite the fact that he should. Flashbang comes on towards mid, and Patty will capitalize. This is looking a little bit hopeless, a little bit lost for alternate attacks, and as May falls, Sky is the last player that stands between Los Reyes and a flawless round. They will secure the frag, and Los Reyes, they will secure a 14th round, putting themselves 1 away from hitting map point and 2 away from effectively claiming the series. A very dominant performance coming out from the side of Los Reyes, and I really do want to highlight the plays that we saw from Jarko as well as from Rixo right over there. They were certainly just the star performers in that first half, and specifically Rixo with that AWP really sticking it to the side of alternate attacks, not letting them really have a single inch of space to work with, making them feel as uncomfortable as possible on that T side. It really was the overall formula to success for the CT side of Los Reyes. But We are going to go for a short little break, and when we return, the second half will be underway with that side swap. So let's see, do alternate attacks have what it takes to replicate the exact same CT side? Be sure to stick around. We'll be back in just a few short minutes. And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to our best of 3 series between the side of alternate attacks and Los Reyes. And obviously, in case if you guys are just tuning in, the stakes for this matchup, they are relatively high, don't get me wrong. The team that actually unfortunately will suffer the L between these two squads won't be able to take part in the HCG Masters Season 1 any longer, and they will be eliminated. However, the winner, they will progress onwards and upwards towards the main Swiss event that we have here available for the HCG Masters. And the current scoreline, well, it is we haven't concluded our first map yet, but we're getting very, very close to concluding that first map. Don't you worry. The current scoreline is 14-1 on Ancient after halftime, and that is in favor of Los Reyes, who, by the way, apparently have already gotten the bomb down on their own pistol round. Still no casualties in the server just yet, no wandering souls out in HE hockey sticks just yet, but soon to be. Alex already finds a triple kill, 29 mil rounds in that Glock, and he gets 3 with them. That is just miraculous stuff coming out from him. Maeve will be able to claw it back by 1, but it is that measly 1v2 that he has to work with, and he isolates Buzz. Okay, so now he might stand a chance, and he can have a little bit of room to work within the defuse, but he doesn't have a kit present. He'll unfortunately have to let this round slip. And alternate attacks don't pick up their next pistol round either. Los Reyes, quick to hit map point. And now with the buy coming out from Los Reyes, yeah, on the T side, you get the bomb down. You have so much cash to work with. You can basically buy whatever it is to your heart's content. Mac 10s, Galils, AKs, the whole works. On the opposing side of the spectrum, alternate attacks, they are shivering in their boots. They are trembling in fear. They've already lost out 2 players to the Mac 10 of Rixo, and that's going to be a few more casualties as well. That Mac 10 is good for a 3rd. And now it's all down to the MP9 of Ozek to see if he can get himself a triple kill. I want to remain optimistic. I want to be proven wrong, but Ancient is as good as dusted. Isolates 1 player, but no! Ozek can't even pull the trigger quickly enough. Jarko gets the turn on him instead, and that is Los Reyes taking Ancient very, very rapidly. Basically, speedrunning CSGO on Ancient, no glitch, any percent speedrun. Absolutely ridiculous stuff coming out. And keep in mind that this was alternate attacks picking Ancient as well, not being able to put up any kind of fight whatsoever. That 1 dignity round doesn't really go to show that they have the best odds of taking the series all to themselves. And now we'll be moving on to, well, the map pick of Los Reyes for our second map, which is going to be Overpass in a very short couple of minutes. Obviously, we are going to cut to a very short little break, but before we do, I would like to remind everybody in Twitch chat to go ahead and check out our sponsors and partners, Coin Motion, as well as Plasma. Plasma, for just to basically get your fix of gamer subs. If you're looking for something in the market that's relatively new, relatively fresh, is made from 100% natural ingredients, and is also compliant with diabetes, then Plasma is the gamer sub that you should go ahead and look towards. And if you're in the market for picking up a new crypto trading platform, or if you want to get into it for the first time yourself, check out CoinMotion. They are Finland's leading crypto trading platform, very friendly to use across all international regions, and they can make you feel right at home. But with that being said, go ahead and snack on these delicious highlights that production have already set up for you guys. It has lots of blue in the kill feed for Los Reyes, and you're sure to see some of your star players in that kill feed as well. We'll return in a few short couple of minutes with Overpass as map number 2. About 27 minutes. That's how long the first map of Los Reyes versus alternate attacks actually took us. It was probably one of the biggest records that we have seen in quite a while for one of the fastest maps of Counter-Strike that we have seen in a very long time. At the very least, I think one of the fastest maps that we have seen here within the HCG Masters Season 1. 16-1 was your scoreline for Los Reyes. They put up a whopping 14-1 split in the first half, and then a pistol round followed by a bye in that second half on the T side. That's all it really took for them to secure their 1-0 scoreline. But now we're going to be shifting gears just a little bit more because we're going all the way to Overpass. It is a vastly different beast compared to that of Ancient. But what's more worrisome, if you're a fan of alternate attacks, well, Ancient was Double A's initial map pick, and now Overpass, it is the map pick of Los Reyes. So alternate attacks, they are basically moving into the second map with little to no hope, not all too many chances or odds of winning whatsoever. Los Reyes look to be heavily favored to eliminate alternate attacks from the HCG Masters Season 1 right here and progress onwards to the main Swiss event that is going to be starting off next week. Just to recap the video for you guys in case if you guys have forgotten, yes, it is Overpass that is going to be coming up, and our decider map, should we get there, is going to be Inferno, but I really doubt that we'll make it all the way to the rolling hills of Tuscany. For now, though, off to Berlin we go. Pistol round to start off, and Los Reyes, they are looking to get themselves the early advantage, pick up this opening pistol round, and see how quickly they can speedrun this map as well. They've done a good job of, at the very least, isolating Cello out all on his lonesome. And now Jarko is about to be in a world of hurt, but he actually lines up 3 kills for himself inside a con. Hello, top of the morning to ya. Alternate attacks. What is going on? You feed yourself into the meat grinder. That should have been the easiest pickup for a singular player to deal with, and they have faltered so horribly. Jarko coming in clutch right there, only even taking 30 points worth of damage, and now that the bomb has gone down, Sky isolated inside of Heaven, close to service corridor, will land a nice little one-tap onto Jarko as well, but I fear that's about all he will secure in this round. Bomb is surely going to go off in Los Reyes once again. Just starting off in a dominant fashion, alternate attacks. Oh man. This is going to be a tough road ahead of them to recover. I don't know how they're going to be able to do it. And Jarko is swimming in cash as well. He can buy full util as well. Rixo donning the Mag 10. And nobody on the side of alternate attacks probably even willing to actually put up a buy. As you can see, it was Sky that is likely carrying over the armor that he had from that previous round right there. But aside from that, he's the only person to actually pick up an upgraded pistol. Nobody else can really afford it if you want to sit above 2k or just keep your cash as high as possible. This next round, unless we see an eco round of dreams coming out from alternate attacks, which I very much doubt that we'll be able to see, is likely going to be a Los Reyes round. Obviously, make sure to go ahead and check out Plasma and use the code HCG for 10% off at the checkout right there. I've yet to actually receive my own little Loot Creative Plasma just yet, but I've heard some very, very good things about it. Obviously, I want to spread those good things with you guys. Obviously, keep in mind that they are made with 100% natural ingredients, 100% vegan ingredients, and they are diabetes compliant as well. So, low sugar intake, and they're very easy on the tum-tum. Good nade stack over there to see if they can take care of anyone that is boosted, but to their surprise, nobody is boosted up. In alternate attacks, they've taken a gamble stack over towards A long, which is, coincidentally, I think one of the most popular positions that we see a gamble stack taking place during a pistol round right over here. Los Reyes scratching their head, looking for enemies to shoot at. No one yet to be found. I do fear, however, for Buzz's life, because he is alone, about to actually go over towards Khan, and the same thing can be said for Alex right over here. And I think they're ready to beat this aggression right here. Clear spotted on out. Cello is the first to fall, and they just line up, but somehow trades coming on through, and this is looking a little bit messy for Los Reyes, but they do secure the dub, only suffering 2 casualties. They will secure the good little bits of weaponry right over there, and they can't put up a second round on the board for us. Very least arts and alternate attacks, they will make the rebuy from Los Reyes a little bit costly. Not going to be a flawless round as I stated, so some people will have to rebuy and be left on minimal cash to work with, but that is completely fine for them. As you can see, the weaponry on the side of alternate attacks, more so actually the util that they have, is not the best or brightest either. Boost won't be successful. Freeze can't find anything to show for it. Los Reyes successfully sneaking by in towards short. And they're looking to boost themselves just a little bit further to see what they can catch. And they catch Freeze like a clay pigeon. Buzz rewarded with the first kill of the round. And my oh my, what a frag that was. Now Los Reyes are going to apply the brakes just a little bit. Ensure that this advantage that they've built up won't be thrown away to the wayside just yet. Playing it very tentatively and evaluating their options, as we do have alternate toss out some counter util, but they've actually dipped from that B bomb site entirely. They're rotating off towards either a save call coming on through, or maybe suspicious about a B exec maybe coming on through, or an A exec, excuse me. But as the flashes and mollies start pouring on through, alternate attacks would have definitely heard that one coming on through, and you can see they are not willing to combat this. They are not willing to fight. No siree. They'll save all of this weaponry, armor, and util carried over into the next round. They weren't able to recover the A1S of Freeze, sadly enough, so Cello will still have to use the French FAMAS instead. But we're still waiting for the moment that alternate attacks actually turn over a new leaf and show us their true colors. Really show us their teeth and what they're actually made of. Sadly, it won't happen in this round, and it might not happen for a good few couple of rounds. Now moving into round number 4, Los Reyes have already picked up a successful hat-trick of rounds, and at the very least alternate attacks. They will be able to put up a buy in this round. A little bit skeptical about the usage of those FAMASs though still. I would have much rather seen the MP9s, but either way, Losade is not willing to waste a precious moment at all of taking control of the park. ozek already deep inside of enemy territory, spots out one player. Will trade a little bit of damage. It's practically even in terms of damage traded out. As Alex is not looking all too healthy. Losade is definitely taking a much more slow and steady approach to this round, as those pesky CTs can literally be hiding anywhere. Nade damage not found. I do feel as if Maeve is about to lock horns. At the very least, ozek will be able to find one over towards A long. Rixo will secure the trade, and he's got a second one to deal with. Oh, keeps his head tucked in before sticking the reload, and somehow still manages to win the gunfight v Maeve. Now, Freeze can't activate the FAMAS on time either. That is a blunder, a little bit of a throw, but it is the French FAMAS after all. Can't expect too much value out of that gun. And this B-bomb site is empty, up for grabs. Easy to secure for Losade, as they will get the bomb plant down in just a matter of seconds right over here. And alternate attacks. Cello and Sky specifically will have to, once again, hold on to these rifles and carry them into the next round, but it's only 2 rifles. And not exactly 2 of the good ones either. I will have to say, though, it is a little bit interesting that the A4 has risen a bit in popularity as well. We've seen it at the very, very tip-top end of T1 with players such as Simple and Electronic. A lot of players on Navi. I think also Bit comes to mind of these 3 players actually choosing the A4 over the A1S quite often. And on paper, it is still much more inferior gun towards the A1S, but it's got cooler skins, let's be fair. Or that might just be me. I think it has cooler skins. And it's got a beefier body as well, you know. The A1S is kind of like a pencil. And the A4, it's like a really chunky whiteboard marker. It just looks cooler. Or a ballpoint pen if you're into that kind of stuff. Now, though, Losade is moving swiftly into round number 5, not wasting a precious moment. Cello deals out so much damage, but he will be cleaned up. The spray through comes from Sky, and it's good for 2 frags as ozek also retaliates. Alex, though, gets a trade, and that's going to put us into 2v2 with Maeve and ozek still looking healthy enough to contest, but they need to secure these positions at the very least to build up some angles, get themselves LOS onto the bomb site. Losade has yet to actually stick the bomb plant down, so that does leave them with a little bit of time, but here it goes. Alternate attacks, repositioning, ready to pounce. As we do have ozek down below inside of water. He is going to be the linchpin. And if Maze actually falls, then it may all just be a lost cause for him. And there it is, ozek. He will go down his flank. His backstab unsuccessful. And that is going to force Maeve to save this op. And there's no way that he could know that the last 2 players are on such low HP. I mean, to hell, you could whip out the USP and just deal 2, just basically shoot twice at the enemy and outright win the round, but Maeve doesn't have the benefit of seeing the HUD or opening up that command console as a lot of us might be used to in matchmaking. Now, though, Losade is still yet to drop a round right here on Overpass. A flawless performance put up from them thus far. And alternate attacks, this is the closest that they have actually come towards securing a round on Overpass. If only 2 more kills had gone in their direction, well, it definitely could have been a round for the boys in blue. Attack pause coming on through from the side of alternate attacks. They have money to play with. They can spend quite a little bit of it as well. And they can certainly put up quite the buy as well. Sky and ozek are the only people that might be a little bit financially insecure at the moment, but that shouldn't be the most worrisome thing I want to say. But either way, on the CT side, how do you really try to stave off Los Reyes. That last round was actually a really good example as to how you do it. You stand anti-flash. You have somebody like Ozek or Cello. Actually, Ozek is the one that got that triple kill over there, or the double kill, excuse me. And you just need to be able to counter that utility properly because, you know, Los Reyes, they do use it to its absolute value. And you can also get yourself a nice little piece. A nice little two-piece, I should say, of entries in towards Khan. Maeve will also chime in with one of his own over towards A-Long. That's going to leave Alex and Patty, well, stranding, or at the very least stranded, and wondering, pondering the question as to what the hell just happened to the rest of my squad. It was Double A that dug them a 6-foot grave, lads. That's what happened. Patty digs a 6-foot grave for Cello right there over towards Barrels, and he does have the bomb actually within arm's range of him, but he has to worry about Sky, who has stood in that smoke, and I think he's just about to walk right into his LOS. Sky falls off the angle, and we do have Alex. Oh no, Patty, excuse me, waiting to phase through that smoke, and he will still get the frag. 35 seconds on the dot to work with for Los Reyes. And I think Patty is just waiting for Alex to maybe come over, grab the bomb while he can provide coverage. And the bomb site is completely empty. There's not a pest in sight. They can get a bomb plant down for free here, and they certainly do have the time to do it. But I think alternate attacks already realized that the jig is up. They know it's about to hit them. He comes on through freeze. He finds one, shuts down Alex as they were trying to secure the bomb plant. Doesn't happen. Alternate attacks. They finally get themselves a leg to stand on right here on Overpass, and I really hope we can use the term legs as in plural right here on Overpass, and they can outdo the scoreline of 1 round on Ancient. That's what I want to see. Not even 2 legs. I want them to be tridopedals. I want them to have 3 legs to stand on. Quadrupedals. Like a dog. Get themselves 4 rounds. At least do something other else instead of just the 1 round. And so, moving into this, what could potentially be the last buy round from either 2 sides. Actually, not necessary for Los Reyes. You still got plenty of people with lots of cash that can buy on through. But this could be the last buy round that alternate attacks put up on the CT side for real if it doesn't go in their favor. And they really do need it to go in their favor. Ozek deep inside of enemy territory over towards Birthday spots out a whole boatload of information, so can't relay that back to the CT side, letting everybody know that there is a heavy presence over towards Park and B-Day. We'll have to forfeit some of that lost territory, but that's completely fine. Give it up for free onto the side of Los Reyes. And then set up a death trap somewhere a little bit further into the map. Aside from those early HEs, no real contact has been made in terms of gunfights just yet. Maeve, tentatively holding an angle, will be flashed off his position. Ozek, lovely gap through that smoke to work with. Finds Jarko, and Ozek will also go. Ozek will retort, or at the very least, Patty will retort, excuse me. Finds one onto Ozek, and the AWP of Maeve is about to make in contact. Finds one onto Alex, and secures the bomb as well in the center of mid. It's dead. And now Rixo with the AWP has to somehow flush it up big time. Spots out one player. Thought he had him dead to rights. But that's not going to be the case. He misses out on the shot, and Freeze will secure that one. The freest kill of his life. And alternate attacks, as I said, have 2 legs to stand on. They are now a bipedal creature, ladies and gentlemen. It certainly was Maeve to make that magic happen right there, securing a triple kill in the round, leaving easy pickings for the rest of the squad to clean up. Starting to look good, but is not yet great. the very least, alternate attacks, they won't be kept in that chokehold for very much longer. Los Reyes are starting to run out of cash very quickly. They still do have Rixo on that AWP, who hasn't really come alive in this map just yet. Hasn't really been putting up the same numbers in terms of kills as we saw in the previous map of Ancient. So we're still going to be waiting for him to really put up that kind of masculine, or I should say muscular and really, really powerful performance. They're going to be using the exact same boost that they did in the last round, and that, just like a classic good old gopher, Patty won't be able to smack him on the head with the hammer, or in this case, the hammer being the metaphor for the AK. Jarko is really up close and personal with the MAC-10, looking to peer up close towards that sandwich position, waiting for a flash, waiting for a little bit of util to be tossed on in. aTTaX, though, does have the jump on, and he gets 2, he gets 3, narrowly the 4th as well, but that's already so much damage caused. Maeve, easy pickings with the AWP, and now Rixo once again left to his own devices, left on his own. Theoretically, could pick up the easiest ace of his life, but it all starts off with Maeve, rendering it down to 3 sole survivors, and in through Sandwich he creeps. 2 players ahead of him that he has to deal with, and his shoulder will be spotted out. Can't land the flick fast enough, and from behind, he will be backstabbed. Freeze finds an easy kill right there. AWP and weaponry recovered. Alternate attacks get themselves a hat trick of rounds. 3 in a row, I should add. And it is starting to look good, the CT side. But today is faltering. And that was the last successful buy round that they could have put up, so they will be forced to play with pistols in the next. No upgraded pistols either. They're just willing to build up as much cash as possible. As I say that, Patty does have the P250, as you can see in POV. And it's a quick march down A long, stroll through the park over towards the A bomb site. And obviously, you don't want to waste time at all. You cannot cut for any fast breaks whatsoever. But you do unfortunately burn down to a crisp, as Freeze has just picked up a triple kill right there, holding it all down by himself. Flashbang tossed on through, and now the reinforcements have arrived. The rest of the cavalry has joined in. Sky and Maeve rewarded with the final frags, and that was a very, very comfortable win for the side of alternate attacks, putting themselves 1 round away from tying up the scoreline right here on Overpass. And we are really starting to see alternate attacks show their true colors right here on Overpass, something that they didn't even get the opportunity to do earlier on Ancient. We get to see what some of these players are really made of. Sky, Freeze, and aTTaX, riflers in their own respect, are coming alive and are really letting the A1S sing their sweet song of death. Finding multi-kills and just overall getting impact frags, making it really tough for Los Reyes to win out rounds left, right, and center. No longer as cutthroat, I don't want to say cutthroat, but I want to say no longer as much of an easy cut as a hot knife through butter for Los Reyes. 2 players have already flooded on through, make it 4 have actually flooded on through, and 4 have been picked up and cleaned up by Los Reyes in this AK buy round. Patty to try to clutch up big time, unfortunately enough, will be shut down after picking up a nice little 2-piece right there, but still no success, no bueno for the boys on Los Reyes. Alternate attacks, they've successfully tied up the scoreline after staving off Los Reyes in that B bomb site execution, with truthfully didn't look all too convincing as an execution for my taste. Once again, back to pistols we go. 1 Tech 9 surrounded by Deagles to work with on the side of Los Reyes. aTTaX already looking for an early engagement, finds it onto Rixo. And that's just the one odd player that was stranded over towards Park. They do locate a second, though, in the form of Buzz. They've staved off the rest of the crew from joining in. Flashbangs pour on through. Alternate attacks. They've already collected their loot. They've already reaped their rewards. They're fine with giving Los Reyes a little bit of a comfort window to work with. Some real estate. Maybe even a false sensation of hope. Los Reyes will take it though, and they will continue to advance in the same manner that they did in the very last round. And I do think that aTTaX is already ready to receive. He's got that angle on Overwatch. Looking deep over towards A-Long. He will be smoked off, though, and he chooses not to push, despite the fact that he had the option to. They will boost themselves, however, and that is all they needed to secure themselves. Yet another frag. Jarko falls. A 5v3 scenario now ensues as Alex looks to maybe find one. He does onto aTTaX before Maeve was able to secure one with Big Ol' Green. He goes in for another, and the no-scope doesn't connect. Spray through as Freeze taps down Alex so desperately low, but Maeve and Freeze are already on the case. Alternate attacks for the first time in this best of 3 series. What could be their last match as part of HCG's regional Swiss. They have taken the lead versus Los Reyes. Just by 1 round, but it is a lead nevertheless, and that is definitely something to give yourself a pat on the back for. Brilliantly played by alternate attacks in that round as well. And this is Los Reyes' map pick at the end of the day. Am I saying that Los Reyes should maintain a very substantial lead on the T side? Probably not. It's all CT sided nowadays, isn't it? Still taking this long for alternate attacks to really get their engine revving? Better late than never. The option for a 4 or a 10-to-5 split, excuse me, is still on the table, and that is the most that alternate attacks can get out of these next 4 rounds. Maeve and Sky. Oh no, they walk right into the head glitching body and LOS of Jarko. They do deal 50 points of damage to him, but that's not enough. And now, as this 5v3 ensues, aTTaX is looking to take a very advanced position up towards that public bathrooms. He's been flashed off, saved off, as Los Reyes have rotated over towards the B bomb site. Freeze will shut down Jarko, put us into a 3v4, so it is starting to look a little bit more winnable for both sides. Patty has 2 players within arm's distance to the smoke, and as the smoke fades, you know for a fact that Cello and Freeze were advantaged in that scenario, but they both lose out their lives in even trades. aTTaX now has to mount the retake. He's been mauling off of short. Can't. Oh, he actually does shut down the bomb plant. And he gets Rixo as well before finally being taken to the grave alongside himself, burning to a crisp. Courtesy of the Molotov. And it's still a round for alternate attacks right there, despite how everything transcended. What are the odds? And that was a really, really messy engagement right there. I'm talking about what happened in Tunnel. That one that took place right over towards B short, even crazier for aTTaX right there. What a mad lad. Balls of steel. With round number 13 well underway, the pistol round is starting to bear a little bit of fruit. Patty will find 2, but at the very least, Cello will retort with a double kill of his own. Patty deep inside of enemy territory. Can't make the Tech 9 come alive to recover the A1S. All Los Reyes have in terms of weaponry is that Mac 10, and Buzz has already taken so much damage. He will be forced off of his position thanks to that Molotov. And Jarko down below inside of water has 2 isolated 1v1s to work with. Or so I thought. The Tech 9, not the prime weapon to deal with these long-range weapons at a long range itself. Flashbang comes on through. Jarko, no scoped right into next Friday. Alternate attacks. They get themselves an 8th round right here, building up quite the substantial lead on Overpass. And with 2 rounds left to play, Los Reyes, they will have to buy into the next, and maybe even to the one after because of how successful this. Oh, that was a nice touch. That was a nice touch from production. Thanks to Firmix right there for that one. Little bit of banter going on. You love to see it, ladies and gents. Alternate aTTaX coming back, swinging right here on Overpass. They've already put Ancient in the rearview mirror, and they are certainly looking to make Los Reyes work for their well-earned dinner. Ozek, bit of a messy engagement on the second one right there, but he still walks away with the first. Rixo and Jarko, though, they clap back with 2 of their own. Cello and Sky now to hold it down to the best of their abilities in this 2v4. I really don't see it happening, though. Sky passes through the smoke, and he does somehow manage to land the draw quickly onto Patty, and he scampers away through the sewer tunnel with 14 HP to his name. Is this winnable? 100%. Are Los Reyes going to let it happen, though? I really doubt it. 55 seconds on the dot. Jarko, prime position to swing, and swing he does. He finds Cello, and now it's down to Sky to go for a wide swing himself. He gets one and manages to catch Alex on the rotate towards Calm. That's bomb as well, but no, Rixo had an extra rotate to work with. He could have gotten quicker to water before Sky could have done that himself. A valiant effort, a Herculean effort coming out from Sky in that instance right there. But still, it is Los Reyes to keep alternate aTTaX in check. So brilliantly played, and only with 14 HP to his name, Sky could have definitely pulled that one off. If only he had a buffer, or maybe if he was just a little bit healthier, he could have landed an extra couple of necessary shots to make it happen, but nah. Moving into the 15th and final round of this first half, Los Reyes have one final buy to put up, and so do alternate aTTaX, sparing no cent moving into the next half. HE tossed out, and CTs have vacated that con position. They will move up further back towards that mid-bathroom side. Maeve, very advanced with the AWP, is looking for a victim to tap on. A very close stack. 3 players just outside of birthday party. Smokes and HE's tossed on in. Maeve looking to reposition, rotate that off just a little bit further, but everybody snuck on through. The timing could not be more horrible for Maeve right here. And this is uncomfortable. You're starting to panic in this instance. Where have they gone, you ask yourself? They've gone over towards A long, but there's no way you can know that. He's got one more player, spots an inch, a pixel to work with, but can't capitalize quickly enough. Maeve will safely rotate on through, though, and with 35 seconds left, he can't even secure first blood right here. Freeze looking to boost up over towards the smoke, gain an angle, some info to work with, and they're about to lock horns. Freeze gets the better of one of them, sprays in for the second before finally falling himself. Ozek with the FAMAS gets another, and it's all down to Buzz right here with the AK in tow. Finds 2 for his troubles on the kill feed. Cello and Sky isolated from that smoke, and it's perfect from Los Reyes. Buzz! 1 round left in the chamber, and he will get 2 kills for his troubles right there. Beautifully played. Chef's kiss coming out from him. My, oh my. That is just not something you can pull off. Not in this day and age. That is straight up daylight robbery. Los Reyes deny the side of alternate aTTaX to get themselves a 9th round, and they will put up a 7th of their own, keeping it very close-knit, keeping it very competitive on Berlin, on Overpass right here. We will cut to a short little break, but when we return, the ever so climactic potential conclusion to Overpass awaits you. We'll be back in just a few short minutes. my, what an opening half it has been right here on Overpass, and what a conclusion it was to that very last round as well. The Rocket Man himself, Buzz, somehow being able to clutch up that round after everything had gone so south for the execution of Reyes. It got messy. Buzz right there able to find one kill that was over towards, if I'm not mistaken, that center side of the map as well. Replay sadly cut off, but that's fine. We can have it shown on screen in just a second as well. But either way, 8-7 is your current scoreline. It was still quite the sick play coming out from Buzz. And now it continues. This is what could be the most important pistol round for alternate attacks to win right here. If they do, they extend the gap of rounds up to 2. If they don't, then Los Reyes on the CT side, they will tie up the scoreline. Either way, though, alternate attacks, the one goal that they should have on their checklist is to get that bomb down so they have some cash to buy into the next. And Patty finds a lack in freezing. He gets another. Oh my goodness, Patty! They're just serving themselves up to the god with the USP. He gets another onto Maeve. And it's all down to Cello, who's stuck inside of A long. He locks horns with Patty. Just let him have it. Let him have the ace. Aww. An absolute party pooper. And he manages to get one onto Jarko as well with the last round in that Glock. So he has recovered a USP to work with, but the bomb is very far away. And Buzz does what Buzz does best. Shuts down Cello. Oh my. Still though, this was a really great series of entry frags that came out from Patty right there and then. I don't know exactly how you as a human being are even supposed to combat that. You simply can't, let's be fair. For now though, alternate attacks unsuccessful in getting the bomb plant down with no cash to work with. They have to save every little bit they do, and everybody is burning. Nobody is looking healthy. That frag grenade could have dealt even more damage. And already no shots fired, no contact made physically, and the MP9 is primed and ready to clean them all up. Freeze is the last to fall right there. Got a little bit messy for Alex, but doesn't really even matter. Still an absolute monstrous little bit of util right there that was used. Ooh. I swear, this is racking my brain right here. It's a little, I swear, all of these kills and that quadra kill from Alex was so, it was so powerful that it literally had the ability to bend time and reverse it. It's great. But now, alternate attacks, they do have weaponry to work with. AKs geared to the tooth, and one of them will already fall at the hands of Rixo, finally making a name for himself on Overpass. Didn't exactly have the best of sniping halves. Very strong with the C side, but on the CT, I'm pretty sure that's going to be a little bit of a different story. Maeve, though, will report, finds the trade, and Buzz, the hero of the first half, will sadly fall at the hands of Cello once again. So now 4v3 ensues. Patty looking to regain the bathroom's position, but that is going to leave, if I'm not mistaken, well, Jarko all on his lonesome with the MP9. Physically inside of the A-bomb site. And alternate attacks, they've drastically, well, down the pace in this round. Patty offers himself up to an awaiting Cello inside of Connector, and now the push, at the very least, I thought the push towards B may have finally come on through, but I suspected incorrectly. That bomb has been rotated over towards A because of the fact that Freeze can confirm that it is basically as dead as a wild western town. And instead, he's going to go on a little bit of a hunt. See if he can take the MP9 and the AWP and strip it out of the clutching arms of Los Reyes. There goes the AWP, and now Jarko's going to have to play for his life to keep that intact. One player inside of water. Hard right. Can't quickly shift or flick onto his melon. Freeze will secure an AWP that now the T side of AA can use to their own advantage. And we're all tied up. Yes. 9-all is the current scoreline. And alternate attacks, they have the opportunity to break through. Nothing but pistols to work with for Los Reyes. One deagle. They are really playing this conservatively on the side of Los Reyes. And it is a little bit unfortunate when you're at the mercy of that CT-sided economy. Flashbang comes on through, and here comes a swarm of zombies. Patty and Buzz somehow walk away with 2 frags of their own. Maeve will retort with one of their own instead, but they're not long for this world, unfortunately enough. Jarko will shut him down. Ozek and Cello, goodness gracious. That kill feed is leaving a nightmarish imprint into their brains. They've lost out on 3 players, but more importantly in AWP, 2 AKs that have fallen into the hands of the enemy. The eco round of dreams, question mark, for Los Reyes? It's shaping up to be. Ozek can really start to work that AK. He finds one, but Alex is quick to trade it back. Cello, now left in isolation, has to hold down the fort to the best of his abilities. Finds one over towards heaven. The second one challenges, and he picks up Buzz. Now it's just down to Rixo with the USP, but no! It's the Deagle instead to come alive. 1 bullet is all that it took. 1 melon to be popped. And that is a clutch coming on through from Los Reyes. Sure, it may have been a 3v1 for Cello to secure, but I'll be damned if he didn't try his darnest. Los Reyes had no business winning that last round whatsoever, and they put in the work. A well-placed flash grenade and then a swarm of USPs to follow. You know, that's the funny thing about USPs. On its own, it is just about as useless and as harmless as a Glock. But when you have 5 of them running at you, that's when it starts to get very scary. Los Reyes successfully put up a buy in this round, and the same thing can be said for alternate attacks. 1 loss here. It's going to leave alternate attacks more so in dire straits than it will the CT side of LR. Ozek already drawing first blood. Jarko, Alex struggling to tame the AK, and he will pay a costly price for it as the TK comes on through from AA. It's going to leave us in a 3v3, quickly converted into a 3v2 by Buzz. Cello falls. I'm not exactly sure if my microphone is picking that up, but I can hear my guinea pigs in the other room. They are just like literally yelling at me for food or something. I don't know. There's like a loud screeching noise. Yep, sometimes you do need a loud screeching noise, such as a guinea pig yelling for food, to fill up the silence that falls upon overpass. Well, that silence isn't really going to last much longer. Maeve and Ozek, they really can't allow it to. 25 seconds left. They have got to make a move, and that A bomb site, it is starting to, well, prove to be heavily staffed as well. 2 players now hold it down, 1 behind default and 1 on the staircase as well. Flashbangs tossed on in, a second one to boot as well, but unfortunately enough for the side of alternate attacks, they aren't really blinded. Maeve secures 1, but he will have to fall back. Can't even get himself the secondary frag, even though we've gone long past that point of no return. No time for him to get the bomb down. And that is Los Reyes setting the scoreline at 11-9. Little bit unfortunate of a TK coming on through. Could have been one of the mistakes that costed alternate attacks their round, or at the very least, I want to say that man advantage, because given their time management, I'm pretty sure they would have still lost out the round regardless of it being a 3v3 scenario. And so, Los Reyes, they can distance themselves even further from alternate attacks. Nothing but pistols to work with. Deagles, a CZ, P250, and a Glock. For the side of AA with no util means that they will be going into each and every single engagement completely dry. Squeaky to be bursted on open. Patty securing a little bit of information thanks to sound cues about what might be going on inside a con in mid. And alternate attacks like a stampeding herd of elk, I want to say? Or Zambonis? Wildebeest. We'll go with wildebeest. Like a stampeding horde of wildebeest have now actually decided to shut the hell up and play this a little bit more stealthily because of the fact that they lost out on the first engagement. Rixo also doubles down for one more onto Ozic. 5v3 now ensues with those two Deagles no longer really being that much of a factor for Los Reyes to worry about. They are still heavily tucked deep inside of mid, and as Rixo finds the third kill of the round, it's about time that we just wrap up this round in a neat little bow and get it over with, right? Los Reyes, they find themselves 12, extend the gap all the way to 3 rounds, alternate. Now looking to put up a bye round. See if they themselves can hit double digits for the first time in this series as well. But I don't know. It's going to be a little bit tough for Los Reyes. In this half, they've already gotten themselves 5 rounds. Alternate attacks. Just the one. And after only having gotten themselves, well, 8 rounds in that initial CT half, I'm a little bit worried for their overall odds. They're being able to, you know, put in that much work and effort and see that much success on the T side as well. Overpass isn't really the kind of map that fosters the T side. You'd maybe look over towards Dust 2, or even Mirage for a more T-sided experience, but certainly not Overpass. Still all 10 players in the server alive and kicking. Alex about to lock horns. He's got sound cues to confirm that there's somebody very, very close, literally on the opposite side of that smoke. But he's willing to reposition and maybe challenge an engagement over towards long, but he falls at the hands of Maeve. That is not a frag that Los Reyes should have offered up. This A-bomb side is looking to, well, starting to look a bit decisively weaker, all things considered, and we're going to have to rely on Rixo to once again put up the numbers, put up the scores, and really let this op come alive into a shape of its own. But no, Freeze is quicker on the draw, and now it's down to Patty to hold it down with the A1S, finds 2 kills, ready for the third, but can't make it happen. Jarko, the secondary piece of reinforcement, the secondary leg for that A-bomb site to have stood on, also fell. And it's crumbled. Buzz has to mount the retake with the A1S. One inside of bank, one on default, and it's going to be the player over by default. Sky, particularly, to pick up the frag onto Bust. Los Reyes couldn't make anything happen in that retake, just because of the fact that A-bomb site hold was just frankly so weak. And you lost one player that was so deep inside of enemy lines, that player inside a bathroom. You know that it really doesn't bode well for your CT side. Los Reyes putting up the last buy that they can afford. In the event that they lose, that is. Nice little boost coming on out. Not exactly sure about actually putting the AUG in such a CQB engagement area inside of Con. You'd ideally want that at a longer range. That's what it has scope for. Flick unsuccessful coming out from Rixo, and luckily he doesn't have anyone to really deal with or worry about on the opposing side. That's actually been smoked off. Cello, a little bit of a blunder there, mate. You could have walked away with the free frag onto Rixo as he was trying to rotate, and now you've paid the price for it. He's going to reposition, rotate that off over towards A long, toss out a couple of flashbangs as a primary deterrent. Alternate attacks, well, they've quite frankly all been spotted out by Rixo and his AWP, but interestingly enough, Buzz is still the only player to hold it down. Alex finds one elsewhere. Rixo gets another. Buzz has two players walking directly into his LOS and Los Reyes. They find an easy 13th round right there. A flawless one at that, without so much as one casualty. And I've got to say, easily the biggest blunder right there had to have been from Cello. Smoking off that bathroom side and actually granting Rixo safe passage to rotate through mid. And then losing his life to it. That is about as, it's about as much of a B word as karma can be at times. And alternate attacks don't really have much to show for in this round. Just the one hero AK is. Patty is full on flash freeze, looking to amp up the pressure. Finds one with the Tech 9. And Maeve is also left elsewhere with the Tech 9. Rixo will successfully pick up freeze inside of service. And Maeve through the smoke will be easily read into by Jarko. Los Reyes, for the second time in the series, find themselves one round away from map series, but for the first time in this series, they find themselves 2 rounds away from outright eliminating alternate attacks. Can they make it happen, or can alternate attacks bounce back, keep the dream alive, and somehow force us all the way to Inferno to stand a chance in the HCG Masters Season 1 tourney? Reserved approach coming out from alternate attacks as Ozek is on the front lines looking to maybe pop some heads. They have yet to actually clear out connector though, which is a bit interesting given the fact that Cello is physically down here, but now doesn't need to clear it out anymore. Players have rotated off over towards public bathrooms in the center of the map. Exchange of utility taking place top side. Both teams still look relatively okay on util, all things considered. Alternate attacks, only 2 more flashes to their name, which they must use for that execution. 3 smokes, which should be plenty if you got the pre-place to maybe block off construction, short, default, or heaven. POV, you are a smoke grenade. Now here comes the execution with 30 seconds left to play with. Rixo strikes Jerko up through water, finds a 2-piece before being shut down. Freeze has space to get the bomb down as well, but so much damage already being caused as Cello gets himself a triple kill right here. Patty in through short, shuts down Freeze. Cello to do it all alone, to do it all on his lonesome. AK in tow, 34 HP to his name. And he's got an AUG to isolate. He finds the headshot onto Alex. And now it's all just up to Patty, but he can't make it happen. No, Patty falters. Cello so much quicker on the draw. Left on 7 HP, he will ensure that Los Reyes keep themselves off of 15 rounds for as long as possible. What a clutch coming out from Cello right there. And Los Reyes will once again have to force their hand. Try to roll the dice once more on the CT side to see if they can hit 15 rounds and take a very much needed breather in this map. Patty, oh, well ridden to by Sky, but that does only secure the trade. It is still Los Reyes to draw first blood and actually dish out even more damage as Sky's been left on 9 HP. Spray through the smoke is going to leave Maeve worse for wear. 4 HP to their name. One wrong step, one missed shot, and it could be very costly. And as I say that, there's a spray through the con wall. Alex picks him up. The op. Flush down the toilet. Los Reyes firmly holding on to almost every inch of the map right here. They have control of Con, they have control of Short, they have control of Monster. Mid, still a little bit of a question mark, but we do have Alex on the flank, I believe. He can either flank back towards Connector or directly towards Sewers and catch these two players on the opposing side of the smoke off guard. Literally with their pants around their ankles. And if he does that, which he's about to do, it is wraps. It is GG in this particular round for Los Reyes. Ozek, all to do, 20 seconds left in the bomb. It is too far away. He walks right into the open arms of Jarko, and Los Reyes hit 15. 1 round away from eliminating alternate attacks. 1 round away from progressing onwards towards the main Swiss event of HCG Masters Season 1 themselves. And given the buy on the side of alternate attacks, it is very sad. It looks as if this is the last little bit of footing that they have to stand on. 2 AKs, 2 Deagles, and a Tech 9. Absolutely nothing to write home about. We have seen only 1 eco round of Dreams, and this one could start off to be one. Lovely nade stack reading into the boost by Patty. It's a sick little play. Perfect usage of the frag grenades right there as well. Only downside is that's a rifle that you cannot recover. That is not a rifle that you can put into your own arms and use as a player on the side of AA. Deterrent used. Flashbang was already tossed on out, and now the entire crew is starting to creep up ever so slightly. Rixo to gather intel. He's got 1 player as backup over by Optimus, but Maeve actually finds the opening on Jarko. Alex comes in for the backstab. Rixo shuts down Ozek, narrowly catches a glimpse of an extra player and gets Cello's Melon through the wall. 2v3 now, AKV M4, and that is Buzz winning out his engagement, and Alex as well. And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. GG's coming on through, and good luck to Los Reyes further in through the competition. Alternate attacks, they have been eliminated. They gave it their all in that very last pistol round, but unfortunately enough, they couldn't put up more than 2 kills nor the round. And there you have it, your final scoreline: 2-0, 16-1 on Ancient for Los Reyes, and 16-11 on Overpass. Quite the dominant showing on Ancient, but at the end of the day, Overpass, you still very much had AA put, well, basically, you know, make them work for their money. It was a very tight map number 2. I really just wish that map number 1 of Ancient could have lived up to that exact same stature. But either way, that is going to conclude one of the 3 matches and just matches that we have available for you guys in today's very final day of Regional Swiss. Obviously, at 1700 p.m. CET, we will have, Budapest 5 go up against 777. And then we also do have GTZ Bulls going up against Offset. I believe GTZ Bulls is going to be taking place on the A stream, so right up over here. And then Budapest 5 versus 777 is going to be taking place on the B stream, if I'm not mistaken. But either way, that is roughly what we have to offer for the time being, and we will be taking a rather extended break up until 7 p.m. CET when the next match is scheduled to start. But aside from that, I would obviously like to thank every one of you guys in Twitch chat for tuning in. I would also like to quickly thank our sponsors and partners over at Plasma and Coin Motion. If you are not familiar with them, go ahead and scroll down just a little bit further. You can find some panels to click on. Go ahead and visit both Plasma and Coin Motion, see what they have to offer. And as a final thing, I would like to also very obviously thank every one of the hardworking members of staff behind HCG, from the production to the admins to the TOs to everybody that has helped make this thing possible. We cherish you, we value you, and we thank you so much. With that being said, thank you so much for tuning in. We will see you guys back here at 7 p.m. for the next matchup, which is going to be Budapest 5 versus 777. See you guys in a bit.